The A380 was supposed to be the end of an era. Airbus shut down production in 2021, and most people assumed the world's largest passenger jet would slowly fade into aviation history. But that's not what happened. Airlines didn't let it die. They pulled these giants out of storage, fired up the engines, and sent them back into the sky like nothing ever changed. Emirates alone still operates more than 100 A380 and openly plans to fly them well into the 2040s. British Airways reactivated its entire fleet. Lufthansa brought theirs back too. And it raises an uncomfortable question no one wants to answer yet. If the A380 is dead, why does the industry still need it? Because a storm is coming. Nearly 1,000 wide-body aircraft are set to retire over the next 2 decades, and there's nothing ready to replace them. No jet in production today truly fills that gap. But behind closed doors, one airline just made a move that could quietly reshape the future of long-haul travel. And it all hinges on a plane Boeing hasn't officially built yet. That move came from Emirates, and it wasn't subtle. At the Dubai Air Show, the airline locked in an order that immediately set the industry buzzing. 65 Boeing 779 aircraft, a deal valued at roughly $38 billion at list prices. On paper, it looked like another big wide-body order. But buried inside the agreement was something far more important. Emirates didn't just buy the 779. They secured the right to turn those aircraft into something bigger or smaller. Options to convert them into the 778 or into a much larger, still theoretical variant Boeing has never officially launched, the 7710. That single clause changed the meaning of the entire deal. Because Emirates wasn't just ordering airplanes, they were daring Boeing to study a future where ultra-large aircraft make a comeback without 4 engines. And this wasn't some quiet suggestion either. During the announcement, Emirates leadership made their position crystal clear. They want bigger planes, not someday, now. But to understand why this matters so much, you have to look at what the 779 actually is, and why it still might not be enough. The 779 already pushes the limits of what a twin-engine aircraft can be. It's the largest twin jet ever designed, stretching nearly 252 feet from nose to tail, and tipping the scales at around 775,000 pounds at maximum takeoff. In a typical 2-class layout, it carries about 426 passengers. By most standards, that's massive. But for airlines like Emirates, it still comes up short. That's where the 7710 comes in. Boeing hasn't released official numbers, but industry estimates suggest the stretched version could seat somewhere between 450 and 500 passengers. That puts it dangerously close to A380 territory, using just 2 engines instead of 4. What makes this especially interesting is that the idea isn't new. Boeing first floated the concept of a 7710 stretch back in 2016, quietly noting that the engineering path would be pretty straightforward if enough airlines showed interest. For years, nothing happened. The demand wasn't there, or at least no one was willing to commit. Now, that might be changing. The 7X platform already exists. Composite wings with folding tips. The massive GE 9X engines, each producing around 110,000 pounds of thrust. Systems derived from the 787 program. A stretched 7710 wouldn't be a clean sheet aircraft. It would build on everything Boeing has already sunk billions into. But stretching the world's largest twin isn't just a matter of adding fuselage plugs, and that's where things start to get complicated. Making an airplane longer sounds simple on paper. In reality, it creates a chain reaction of problems that engineers can't ignore. A stretched fuselage adds weight, and that weight eats directly into range. It also changes how the aircraft behaves during takeoff and rotation. With hundreds of passengers on board, engine outperformance becomes critical. If one engine fails at the worst possible moment, the remaining engine has to deliver enough thrust and control to keep the aircraft climbing safely. Then there's tail strike risk. The longer the jet, the smaller the margin during rotation. Boeing designed advanced flight control systems on the 7X to manage pitch and protect against over-rotation, but a 7710 would push those systems closer to their limits than ever before. The engines themselves are another question. The GE9X is currently rated at about 110,000 pounds of thrust, already the most powerful jet engine ever certified. But reports suggest General Electric has tested higher thrust versions on the ground. That means there may be room to grow if Boeing needs it. And all of this is happening under a microscope. Since the 737 MAX disasters, the FAA doesn't give Boeing the benefit of the doubt anymore. Every system, every assumption, every edge case is scrutinized. The 7X is already facing one of the most demanding certification processes in aviation history. And Boeing's track record on this program hasn't exactly inspired confidence. The 779 was supposed to be an airline service years ago. Its first flight happened back in January of 2020, with initial deliveries originally targeted for that same year. That timeline didn't survive reality. Delays stacked on top of delays. Certification hurdles kept growing, costs ballooned. By late 2025, the program had absorbed billions in charges, with Boeing taking another massive hit in just a single quarter. First deliveries are now expected no earlier than 2027, 7 years behind the original plan. And this matters for the 7710 because Boeing can't seriously launch a stretched version until the base aircraft is certified and flying reliably. No airline wants to commit to a larger, heavier variant when the core program is still unfinished. The FAA's enhanced oversight only adds to the pressure. After the MAX crashes and the global grounding that followed, Boeing has been forced to prove compliance in ways it never had to before. There's no room for shortcuts and no tolerance for surprises. So while Emirates is pushing hard for something bigger, Boeing is stuck walking a tightrope, trying to finish the 779 while quietly evaluating whether it can afford to go even further. And while all of this plays out, Boeing isn't the only one watching closely. Airbus saw this coming, and they didn't ignore it. As talk around a stretched 7710 started heating up again, Airbus quietly dusted off its own studies. At the Dubai Air Show, the company confirmed it's examining a larger A350 variant, often referred to as the A350-2000. The idea is simple: stretch the existing A350-1000 and push it into higher capacity territory. Estimates suggest an A350-2000 could seat somewhere between 430 and 450 passengers, depending on configuration. That wouldn't quite match a full A380, but it would land in the same conversation as a potential 7710. And from Airbus's perspective, it comes with some serious advantages. The A350-1000 is already certified. Airbus could leverage existing production lines, supply chains, and regulatory approvals, potentially getting a stretched version to market faster than Boeing could with a brand new derivative. But there's a catch. Airlines operating in hot and high environments, especially in the Middle East, need more thrust than today's Trent XWB-97 engines can provide. Emirates has been blunt about that. Developing a more powerful engine variant would take time, and time is exactly what airlines facing looming retirements don't have. So now the pressure is on both sides. Boeing has the size advantage. Airbus has the certification advantage. and airlines are watching to see who moves first. The reason this debate matters so much comes down to one brutal reality. Airports are full. Major hubs are running into hard limits that can't be solved by adding more flights. London Heathrow is capped at roughly 480,000 movements per year. Frankfurt and Paris hit similar ceilings during peak hours. Even highly efficient airports like Amsterdam, Zurich, and Munich are squeezed by noise rules, slot restrictions, and local regulations. When you can't add frequency, the only option left is capacity. This is exactly why Emirates keeps flying the A380. In a typical configuration, each one carries around 500 passengers. That's a massive advantage when every slot is precious. And it's why airlines are willing to bring these jets back from storage instead of letting them fade away. But the A380 is living on borrowed time. Airbus stopped building it years ago, and spare parts, support, and long-term economics will only get harder. Meanwhile, the aircraft replacing it don't come close in size. Nearly 1,000 wide-body jets, including A380 and Boeing 777-300 ERS, are expected to age out between 2030 and 2040. Most of them seat between 350 and 550 passengers. The standard 779 falls short. A stretched 7,710 wouldn't fully match the A380 either, but it might get close enough. And that's where the math starts to look very interesting. Replacing an A380 isn't a one-to-one equation, but it doesn't have to be. Take Emirates as an example. 40 A380s can move roughly 20,000 passengers in a single wave. To match that capacity with the standard 779, the airline would need noticeably more aircraft. But a stretched 7710 changes the equation. Configured with around 460 to 480 seats, Emirates could replace those same A380s with just a few extra frames instead of dozens more flights. The gap becomes manageable because twin-engine aircraft burn far less fuel per seat than four-engine giants ever could. Operating costs drop sharply, even if total capacity isn't identical. Airlines don't need a perfect A380 replacement. They need something that delivers most of the capacity at a fraction of the cost. And that's the sweet spot the 7710 is aiming for. But there's a bigger question hiding underneath all of this. Even if the airplane works, is there really enough demand to justify building it? Not every airline wants something this big. US carriers prefer flexibility. They'd rather fly smaller wide bodies more often than pack 500 people onto a single departure. That philosophy has shaped fleets for decades. The demand for ultra-high capacity twins is concentrated among a specific group of airlines, those built around massive hub-and-spoke networks. Emirates, Qatar Airways, Turkish Airlines, Singapore Airlines, British Airways, Lufthansa. These carriers live and die by slot efficiency. Then there are the wild cards. China's big three airlines operate some of the world's largest hubs, and their long-haul networks continue to expand. India's aviation market is exploding, with record-breaking aircraft orders placed in just the last few years. If even a handful of these carriers decide to prioritize capacity over frequency, the market for jets like the 7710 could grow quickly. The giants are coming back, and this time, the race isn't just about size. It's about survival, efficiency, and who dares to take the lead. If you love staying ahead of the curve in aviation and want the inside scoop on the biggest planes, industry moves, and future tech, make sure to subscribe to Aviation Insights. Hit that bell so you never miss a story, and join our community of aviation enthusiasts who want to know what's really happening in the skies.